Hey, what's up guys? It's Jared from The Mystic Eye. So in this video I'm going to go into love. First I'm going to tell you what the purpose of love is. Second I'm going to go into some of the types of love dynamic relationships that exist in our world because of our morphed views or our correct views of love. And then finally I'm going to share with you how to kind of get over deep heartbreak and actually the spiritual perspective of heartbreak and breakup and how it's really an actual good thing that can happen to us. So let's get into it. So love is something that the modernized Western world, or not even just the Western world, just the modernized world is obsessed with. We always talk about love being this ultimate thing, about love being upheld above everything, that the purpose of life is love. So there's all these kind of ultimatum statements that are thrown around, but we really don't actually know what it means to be love, or what it means to truly be in a love frequency, or in a correct understanding of what love actually means in relationship to other people, but also to the world and ourselves. Love is such a general term. It's so misconstrued in our Western culture. In the West, we were taught that love is between one person and another. We say, oh, this is my beloved, I would do anything for them, I would die for them, all this other stuff. It's important to see that this is just a conditioning. This is something that has been passed down. All of the media that we consume in the world today is actually conditioning our being and our minds to think about how we should think about life. How can you actually have true freedom or actually be in true love with the world if you don't even know what the correct view of love is, and if all the views of love have been passed down to you through books and media from your society? There's so much more depth and understanding to what love truly means if you actually go through that conditioning and get past it. People think of love in many different types of ways. To some people, love means sticking with a person no matter what, sticking by them. It's more of a codependent view. Okay, no matter what happens, we're gonna stick this together. So you stick through this together. They have a view of life being that life is out to get them. So they say, well, if life's out to get us, then we're gonna stick together so we can plow through it together. But really, life is actually for you, and it's trying to break you open to the world. And once you actually realize that, then you start working with life and you start loving life more, not just the partners that are in it. We think that we can only experience love with one person because of our conditioning. This has been the conditioning of society that's been passed down. Sleeping Beauty, A Cinderella Story, all these romantic things that are just really generalized. But that's the furthest thing from actually love. That's actually narcissistic love. A lot of people, they want one person to be in their life who only loves them. And as soon as that person shows love or affection to other people, then they get jealous. This is a narcissistic view of love, and this means that they have an emptiness within their heart. If you need another person in your life who's only loving you and only shows true affection to you, then you have an emptiness in your heart and you're not aware of it. And that person is going to bring out your shadow. It's going to upset you, it's going to cause fights, and the reason why it's upsetting you and making you hard to be with is because you have an emptiness within you that needs to be filled, and you want that person to fill it, not your own energies. This is a lot of the times the crazy dynamic between the heart and the sex, which I'll get into in the next video. I'm going to talk about the 3 different types of love connections and why the ultimate connection is to have a connection at the sacral level or the sexual level, the heart level, but also the mind and the crown levels. That's the ultimate union, the completion of divine feminine and divine masculine. But that's a whole nother topic that's going to take a lot more discussion, so right now I'm going to stay focused to what we're talking about. Many people were brought up in homes and were taught that love is to keep your mouth shut. It's to keep your true opinion or your true feelings to yourself. This is actually the worst type of love. This is a codependent love where it says, okay, this other person has flaws, they have faults, and so we don't want to hurt their feelings, so what we're going to do is stuff our own true perceptions of them and then pretend that everything's okay on the surface, where everything just gets swept under the rug. This is the exact opposite of love. I would actually even go as far as this is some form of hatred and resentment, because that's what naturally what happens within your being, right? People sometimes when they talk to me about their relationships and coaching, they'll say, hey, you know, like, I'm confused because I feel all this resentment towards my partner, and it's just all this stupid little stuff, but I want to let it go, and they tell me to let it go, it's not a big deal, but then it still upsets me, so then like I end up resenting them, and then I hate myself because I'm resenting them. There's so many dynamics there, but it comes down to one thing: not speaking your truth. If you were to speak your truth, that's ultimate love. We're here as humans. We have a responsibility to one another to show each other our other faults, to be honest and say, hey man, honestly, this is my subjective perception of you. It might not be true, but this is how I'm experiencing you. And then all of a sudden that person says, you know, I never thought of that before. I never saw that within myself. Maybe that is true. And then all of a sudden they go within and they can become a better person, and that's what makes the world better. If you want to make this world a better place, be honest with every single person in your life. It might be scary at first because you want them to love you or you're afraid of them running the opposite direction, but take it from me, the more honest you are and the more straightforward you are, people will love you even more. And you'll learn to love yourself because you won't hold back what you feel like you have to say. In relationships, this happens so often. People come to me and they say they resent their partner. I say, well, you resent your partner because you're not being honest with yourself or them. If you're being completely honest with them in all situations, no matter what, then there wouldn't be that resentment. Everyone says, oh, it's just little stuff that, you know, I don't want to worry about it. The little things matter. The little choices make up our whole entire lives. You know, it's little choices make habit, and your habits form your character, and your character forms your destiny. So that's in everything in life. So if you want to have a good, healthy relationship and a loving one, a true loving one, then you have to speak what you're truly thinking or feeling, no matter how you think it is going to affect the other person. That is really scary. Maybe the other person will freak out, maybe they'll get upset, maybe they'll leave. But if that happens, you spoke your truth, and eventually you're going to attract a person who will also speak their truth, and then you will have a flowing relationship that has no problems whatsoever because you're always stepping into truth and you just fall into one another. That's an authentic love relationship, one where everyone's honest. You know, if your partner puts on something that that doesn't look good on her to you, maybe she thinks it looks good but you don't, and she says, hey, how do I look in this? Right there you have the choice to say, you look great, babe, but it's a lie, and then you end up saying to yourself, man, you know, that was a lie, but fuck it, I'll forget about it. But it's gonna come back up again later. Or you could say, hey, you know what? Honestly, I don't think that looks good on you. I love you and who you are, and you're beautiful to me, but that shirt is fucking ugly. No, I'm just kidding, don't say it like that. But the point is to be honest, because when you're not honest, naturally what's going to arise within you is resentment. We resent the things that we feel like we can't speak about. You know what I mean? So whenever you feel like you can't be truthful or honest, you end up resenting that thing because you say, I can't be truthful or honest because of that person. You blame shift. So you see, when you're not honest with your partner, which is true love, that's what causes all these secondary emotions: blame shifting, resentment, self-hatred. All those things stem from that one problem of you not being honest with your partner. So now, what's the purpose of love? Why do we have it? Well, simply put, love is nothing more than an energy coming in through your heart or going out of your heart. That's all it is. We feel it as this amazing, all-encompassing thing because it's a super deep emotion that many of us haven't experienced before or want to experience. But once you get past that deep love, you realize that you can experience that with the whole world. After my relationship, one of the most deepest ones that I had, my heart broke open into the world, and it was like I just loved everything. I thought that I could only ever love one person because that's how I was conditioned. The love comes in through the heart and then goes back out through the heart. And you think, oh man, it's this person who's allowing me to experience this deep and profound love. But in reality, the purpose of love is so you expand. It's so you break open to the world. That's what happens when you love a person, right? It's the first time that you open up energetically to someone. Because of past traumas or past hurts, our energies have closed down, and then we meet someone in our life who brings out that sensitive, sweet side in us, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves being loving. But what if you could be this way with the world? What if you could just open up your heart to the world and see that every little object out there can make make you cry, can bring you to your knees, can literally make you just burst into tears because it's so beautiful. I can look at a twig or a tree or just something small, and my heart will blow open because I already had that heartbreak. That's the purpose of heartbreak. It's to break your heart open to the world. We've been told so many times that it's just to experience it with one person. It's not. That's only the beginning of what true love really is. True love means expansion. It means expanding yourself and realizing that you're in direct connection with the entire world. You know, the person down the street, you breathe the same air as them. You drink the same water. You may have a separation within your mind, but you're both living in the exact same space. Both of you are occurring in your awareness. That person's occurring in your awareness. Your body's occurring in your own awareness. There's no separation. The separation is only in the mind and in our past conditioning. So the purpose of love is to spiritually evolve. It's to expand. Whenever you love, are you thinking about your problems? Are you thinking about bad things or having bad thoughts? No, you're just expanding. You're just being. If you can be this way with the world, then that's how you want to live. We think we can only have this with one partner. You can have it with every single person that comes into your life. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do all these other things with them. It just means you're open to them. Who are they? What are their real thoughts? What are all the different types of identities do they have? What's going on in their life? You don't have to be this way with every person, but just energetically, you're open to the world. You're open to life. Whatever comes into life, you accept it, and you're impartial to it. There's no judgment. It's just, hey, this is what's presenting itself. Life is just happening right in front of me. In the end, that's all that's ever happening. Life is just happening right in front of you, and you can either choose to run from it because you've had fear and close yourself off to it, or you can just open to it and get in the flow of things. So finally, if you're dealing with heartbreak right now, maybe you were in a relationship for a really long time, that person opened your heart up. Number one, it's important to know here that the purpose of heartbreak is to really break your heart open. Your heart needs to be broken open to the world. The ultimate goal of all of our lives is to spiritually evolve. And what it means to spiritually evolve is to expand or to open up. This is what all of life is always doing. You know, look at things that don't expand. They just stagnate. Look at things that do the opposite of expansion. They decay and they die. It's normal in life to expand. If you just continue to go with the flow of life, then you'll find that you'll be more loving because you're stepping into the real stream of life. Love is about connection. It's about openness. Look at a flower. When a flower opens and it blooms and it gives its fragrance to the world, it's impartial. It doesn't matter what's in front of it. It always just opens up to the world. This is how you should be with your life. This is how you should be with everyone who comes into your life, with the exception of people who you need to mark clear boundaries with. You can still be loving to them, but you just be open. You say, hey, you can't do that. I'm sorry, that doesn't make me feel good. That's being open and loving. And a final critical note here that is a big misconception that happens, especially in the West, is how love actually functions through our heart. This is a really, really important thing to understand, guys. A lot of people, they'll feel so much love in their heart towards another person, and they won't actually realize what's happening. So sometimes when you just feel so much love going towards another person, it's really because that person's heart is empty and yours is filled. You can learn this the hard way, like I did. Sometimes a person has a deep sadness within them, and they don't know how to love themselves, and so they need someone else to truly love them. So you might fall just completely head over heels and be so in love with the person, and really all that's happening is all your energies are coming out your heart chakra and going into them. So they're actually taking your energy, and you're experiencing them within yourself as them deeply loving you. But in reality, they can't love themselves, and no one can ever love you as much as they love themselves. It's an equal proportion. So if you find yourself being consumed with love and you're just overwhelmed with this person, take a couple steps back and actually feel into your body and the subtle sensations of what's happening, and you'll actually feel that You have a lot of energy coming out of your heart, and it's going into that person. And the reason why you have a lot of energy coming out of your heart and going into that person is because that person really desperately needs that heart energy, because they're not filled up on their own heart, which shows up as sadness in their life. So be on the lookout for that. Alright guys, in the next video I'm going to talk about the 3 different types of love connections, which is really important. It's the sacral, the heart, and the mind, and how if you want to have the most ultimate fulfilling relationship, you have to have all 3 in your life. Guys, I have a free empath survival guide. You can check it out. It's free. Download it. It's in the description box below. Alright guys, I love you. I hope you're all doing well with light and love and deepest blessings. Peace.